Well, in this portion, I'm going to be working on my trees. I'm going to be graying them down somewhat, and I'm going to begin with working on my darks because um, they need to be in there first. It's very important, as I've said before in videos, that your darks have shapes, excuse me. Um, when you're painting trees, you really don't think so much about leaves as you should be thinking about the shapes that the shadows and the highlights make in the trees. I think once you figure that out, you'll go a long way toward getting an accurate depiction of a tree. I often have students in my painting classes tell me that once I call to their attention these shapes and the shadows and the highlights, that they never really see trees the same again. And of course, that's my aim. Painting, I think, first and foremost, is about learning how to see. And by see, I don't just mean seeing with the eye, but also seeing with the soul. Artwork is a very spiritual experience. And I think when you learn how to paint, and you get your soul involved in what you're doing, it tends to reverberate into other parts of your life. Because art is a very soulful experience. I'm using a Viridian green because it has a blue base. And that stands to reason, especially for these shadow areas, because shadows are typically cool. I'm beginning to change the tone a little bit around these darker areas. by painting over these trees, I already have some highlights established. So in some instances, I can just leave those uncovered. While I somewhat mute the others. This is a good example here. I think the original painting, I was really trying to be too literal and forgetting my own ideology about painting, and that is, this is my painting. So I can pretty much do what I want. And if I'm not happy with the real tree, I can create it to look the way I want it to look. And I'm liking that better already. I'm using Viridian Green and a little cadmium yellow medium for this second tone, and that got a little too orange to suit me, so add some more of my green back in. Remember that red and green are complementary colors, and when you work with them in equal parts, you get mud, basically. But adding red to Payne's Gray makes a really nice green, in various proportions, of course. Yes, I'm liking this much, much better. And I've said on other videos that you have to be careful, especially when you're starting out in your painting career, that you don't infringe upon someone's copyright. This photograph from which I'm working is a photograph I took myself. One thing I'm trying to do is to vary my shapes. And one way to do that is to continue to move your brush. Sometimes I paint on the side, sometimes flat. One thing I've discovered that I like about making videos is that when I go back and look, I can see how my painting has changed, especially in these videos in which I'm reclaiming a painting and reworking it. On occasion, I make photographs as I'm working because it allows me to somewhat step back. But the video is even better because I can not only step back, but I can see exactly what I was doing along the way. So if it's helpful to somebody else, that's even better. It's always good to step back and look at what you're doing. Get a little perspective. Okay, I think I'm ready to go to a little lighter color, but I've got these very light shades, which I have in reality, and then I have a bluer, lighter green that's going to blend in this area. And the same is true over here. I have some lighter green that's going to have to happen in here, and then the darker but lighter shades of green. Because the sun is coming down and it's shining brightly on the trees that are behind this tree. And the same is true here. In these lighter areas that are closer to me, I'm using some cobalt blue, excuse me, some white, and just a touch of yellow. I can see, going to have to go a little bit lighter to make that a little more believable. But my time is up for right now, so work that out later. I think it's actually getting darker in here. I have I live on the marsh, so I have lots of really bright light in the afternoons as the sun is going down. But I think it's just about gone. for today. But I'll be back. Thanks again for watching.